Hello and welcome to this video on the updates for the Staklii system for September 2026, and I'm really excited to share all the new features and widgets with you. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let's jump in to the widgets. I want to go through them fairly quickly. Now we've got a bunch of new widgets, but some of the older widgets also received updates. So I'm going to try and go through all of them as best I can. So let's start with the text, heading and text widgets. So this is a normal heading widget, but you'll see that there's an underline feature. So now how it works, if you select any text, whether it is a headline or a normal piece of text, the part or the section of the text that you highlight now has a text effect tool. Now this one has got the highlight where you can select the color, you can select whether it is a brush. You'll see there in the background that it changes, an underline, a brush, a wave, double underline, or a glow underline, whether it's under or behind the text. Or you can have a rotating text, and I'll show the rotating text to you in a different section of the page quickly. Apart from that, one of the other updates is that you can now see what your heading style is as you update it on the selected piece of text. The other nice thing about text, not just text, any widget for that matter, all the widgets now received a free move function. As soon as you click that, you are now not limited to the builder grid anymore. You can now put this piece of text or whatever widget it is anywhere on your page where you choose. Now you'll see that part of this disappears behind the image and part of it in front. As soon as you start using the free move, you get a new layer option where you can now either send it back, and you can see that it updates there. You can either send it back, move it backwards, or move it forwards. So that's a really, really cool, nice new feature. And this is for any widget. Your separators have them, your images, your buttons, every widget has them now. The other nice thing is that all of your widgets now also have a wrapper box, which is just a different editing tool for the widget itself. Things like padding, where you can add padding to specific widgets. You can add backgrounds to widgets. You can have specific borders to widgets. Let's change this background to something different. Let's do that just so that you get an idea. I know this doesn't look great, but I want to go extreme to give you a bit of an example. Each widget now can have a little border, a radius, a padding, a parallax effect, and even a tooltip. And I'll show the tooltip and the parallax effect to you a little bit later. Right, so that is for editing text and headlines. So let me show you, and this underline feature is also animated. Have a look at when I preview the page. You see that it animates it a little bit. The other type of editing is the scrolling. So you'll see there's that you see this upper headline. That's the parallax effect that you can add to the widgets. Now have a look at this one. This catchy has got the underline effect to it. Let me show you. Let me show you here. Oh, there it is. There's a scrolling text. You see this one is scrolling. So literally that part of it was selected, and we gave it a rotating text with some options and a color. And then when you preview that, you can see that this text is now rotating. Very nice, cool way to animate your site. And you can also have this in different types of animation. You can either have it to fade, and you'll see a change there. You can have it flip in, or something like a typewriter. The text might jump if it's too long. So it's the effect of writing, deleting, writing. So you can blur it and all sorts of different visual effects that you can now add to all of your text. All right, that is then the text and the heading. The buttons also received a bit of an upgrade. Normally when we had a section like this where there's two buttons next to each other, you had to drag in two button widgets and add them to each other. Now you can add a second button. As soon as you go into the editing, you can now select to add a second button. It automatically adds it. You can give it its own text, its own icon styling, whether it's side by side, its own link. Must it match the primary styling? Exactly the same as the normal button was, but just a second one inside of the widget. And then inside of the styling, you can now style the primary button, give it its effect, and then style the secondary button as you need it. Then it would automatically save a custom preset. Now you'll see there's a default preset also. Another thing we added is in the global styling, you now have a global styling for all your buttons on your website. So you can now change all the main effects of your buttons globally for all your sites and give it whatever name you want. This is now for desktop and for mobile. You can have separate global stylings for desktop and for mobile. All right, that was the update on the button. Let's quickly talk about containers. This is more to do with the grid, and I'll touch on one or two of the container updates, but I did have another video earlier this week that explained the new Builder Grid features. But a quick thing in the block is you can now have background patterns, and you can have slider modes and visibility rules when this block must be visible to your viewers. You can now copy it from here and resize it from there. There's a separate setting for that. And then inside of your columns, you now also have the slider mode, and I'll demo this for you in a while. Your actions, you can now duplicate a column. We don't have to manually go and copy a column like we normally did. And you can also swap columns around, move left or move right, and then delete columns. If you don't want this column anymore, you can just delete the column. So those are some of the new container settings. Oh, and on the columns, you can now also have slider mode and tab modes. And you can also set gutters inside of the columns, which is also a new feature. I'll show that to you also a little bit later. Right, the next one is the headline pull. Let's see where I added that one. So there's one that I used as just a bit of a divider or a headline, but this is what the standard default headline pull looks like. And it's literally just a piece of text inside a highlighted section. You can give it whatever text you want. You can add onto that as you want, and then you've got different styling. Is it a solid color? Is it a border? And then all the normal text editing capabilities. Then it also has a wrapper setting where you can give it all the normal standard wrapper details. It's just a different way of displaying your headlines. Just some variations of text on your website, basically. Next is, so the icons stayed the same, but we did add an icon list. So usually in the past, you had to have an icon section, which would give you one item like over here, and drag in a second one and drag in a third one. Now you can just drag in a list. Now this list you can edit in a few different ways. First, let's talk about the individual items. You can have a title, description, icon, and a link, and you'll see that the third one has a link. It gives you a bit of an idea over there. You can reorder them as you want. And then when it gets to the styling side of it, you can select whether it is a table, like this one is, a standard list, which looks a little bit more than what we had traditionally. Now it doesn't show the link, but as soon as you hover in the preview view over the name, it will show you that it is a link. Or you can have it in the cards view, which is also really, really nice. Same thing, as soon as you hover over this, it will give you an indication of that it has a clickable link in it. So it's a really cool way of displaying different lists and things on your website. So that is the new icon list. The icon section is the same. Then the scrolling text, that is the next one. Scrolling text is literally, as the name says, it's this one we have in here. So it's a headline with a piece of text in the background. Now, you can either have it as main text plus the scrolling text, or just the main scrolling text, and you can obviously adjust the size of this. Now, if you have it in main plus text, you can also select the style. What type of a heading must this be, or is it normal text? Your main text, that's the let's say the top layer, and then the layer behind, and you can set the colors for each one of them individually. Obviously the back one is a bit dimmed, but you can set them individually, and then have your normal font styling and scroll font size and the speed at what that scrolling text must move, basically. So that is the sliding text, or scrolling text rather. The normal separator we had also received a bit of an update. So this is what the new separator looks like. You can now, apart from width and color, go and select what type must it be. So the standard one we always had was just a line. Let me quickly just make this another color again, just so that you can see it. The normal one we had was the line, but you now also have dashes, you have dots, it can be a double line, squiggly zigzag line, bigger dots, faded gradient, and some squiggly waves. So it's just a different way of having separation on your site, and you again have the wrapper editing settings around it. All right, the next one we have is then the social review proof, which is this one over here. It's just a different way for you to give an indication of social proof or reviews or star ratings. So you can add your own to your site. This is the standard default one with 3. You can add more as you want. Just upload your images, and you can add more, as many as you want, basically, in here. Give it your own rating, your scoring, the labeling, the text that needs to go below it, all the colors, and you can even link it. So if you've got a Trustpilot page or Google reviews page or whatever the case is, you can add in the information and link to that site where people can now go and review your business or your services. So it's a very nice small little widget for some social proof. Spaces stayed the same. The other new feature we have, or widget, is a table, which is a really great tool. I think most of them is great, I think, but the table is literally just a grid of text. Now you can have, this one is a custom one that I made. It's got 2 columns, each one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, but you can custom this as you want, and you can have a heading over there and all the information of the rows itself. Now if you go to the second tab, this is the default one that comes with the template, and you can just update this and edit this as you want. So table, very nice way of displaying some text or stats or comparisons or things like that. The next widget is the testimonials. So now you do not have to build if we wanted something like this in the past, we would have had 3 columns, build something in one column, duplicate to the next column. It was quite a lot of work. Whereas now, the default one comes with 3 testimonials where you can add a review, you can edit your score rating or your star rating rather, update your image, give it a name and a title for each of the people. You can swap them around. And then in terms of styling, you can have it either as a grid layout, a list layout, or as a slider where you can now choose how you want this thing to slide and what type of themes you also want. You want the light theme. The light one is the default one. You want to see, let me just quickly change. Sorry, let me just change the text so that you can see that. So the light one is the default one. But you can also have it in a dark mode. Now, together with the testimonials, I'll get to this one. Let's maybe do it now. Is the, where is it? The video testimonial. So this is normal text testimonials. We also now have video testimonials, which is basically the same, just for video. You can either upload the video onto our servers, give it the ratings and all of those things, add a thumbnail for the video, or you can just link it to one of your existing videos in Vimeo or YouTube or ScreenPal or whichever video hosting platform you're using, if you are not making use of the Staklii service for your videos. But it's the same as the text testimonials. All the same editing capabilities, just with video aspect ratios added in, which we don't have for the text testimonials. So that is text and video testimonials. The next one is the timeline. Timeline is literally, as the name says, just a way for you to give some sort of a time frame indication. So this is the widget over here, and the default template comes with 3 milestones that you can edit as you want. You can add the title, date, description, choose whether or not to show an icon. Obviously rearrange them, but then in terms of styling, you can have it horizontal with details below. Horizontal is literally just the milestones without all the information, or you can even have it vertically displayed with some font styling and colors and backgrounds. So that is a nice timeline widget, and you can add as many steps or points into this timeline as you want. Accordion stayed the same. Now with images, there was quite a lot of exciting updates. Let's have a look at this image over here. The first thing you'll notice is that there's now a mask on the image, because the original image is this one. So the first thing is the new masks that we added. If you need to, or if you want to make use of the masks, you enable them, and you can now go and select whichever mask you want to add into your text, which I think is really, really nice. I really do enjoy this. Apart from the masks, let's say you're not using the masks, we can have make rounded corners, which we normally did not have, and you can either have just one corner, 2 corners. You can either adjust them individually to create nice, interesting displays and shapes, or you can sync all the corners, and if you make all of them basically at 100%, it's going to give you almost a round depending on the size and the shape of your image. But if you do want to get it round, you can just select the circle widget. Now obviously, if this widget is either too high or too wide, it's going to be more of an ellipse. If you want to have it circle, it must be exactly a square image that you use this for, which is quite nice. This nice new feature we didn't have. Then the other nice thing is the focus point. We can now adjust the focus point of any image. Now this one is stretched. If we, let's say we remove the stretch, well, it is just when it's stretched. If it's not stretched, you obviously see the entire image. So if you want to use that focal point, you need to activate the stretch part and then decide where you want to focus. Your click on action still stays the same. Then the wrapper, again, you can add in padding and have a very nice effects that you can create with this. Add a border, add a radius, so you can play around with that. So the image widget, I think, has a few very nice updates that I'm really excited about. Oh, the other nice thing is you also now have a reveal animation, and you can give it a color. So this one is like the light green. So have a look at when I preview this page, there's a bit of a slide that reveals the image. Have a look here. Bit of a slide, and it reveals and it fades in. So it's a very nice animation tool for your images. The next one is the hotspot image. Here you go. Now the hotspot image is one big image where you can add specific spots that people can click on. Now let's preview this quickly. I want to show you what it looks like. This is the hotspot. If I click on number 1, it gives me another image, a headline, some description, and if it has a link in, you can link to any page or normal URL or whatever, like we would normally link a button. And every hotspot can be different. You can also move the hotspots to wherever you want on the main picture. So if we have a look at this, we can add a new hotspot if we want. Let's just call it new one. We give it some text. We can even give it an icon. Let's make it that. Why not? So there's the new one that we created. Now we can edit this. Sorry. Let me go back to the hotspot. And that's what I wanted to show you. So you can obviously swap the hotspots around in terms of numbering, or you can take the new one we added and you can move it to anywhere in the picture where it's going to make sense for people to click. Change the background image, and then you also have styling options. You know, I have alt text for the image for SEO purposes. Pin styling, is it numbered? Is it just dots, or is it a plus sign? The dot sizes you can adjust, and the pop over theme, light or dark, and if you hover over it, will it open, or if you click or tap on it, will it open? So that is the hotspot image. All right, the next one would be, I wanted to show you while I'm at the hotspot, I almost forgot. This, you see at the bottom, there's a bit of a text that appears. Click on hotspot to reveal more info. That is an info. Let's go to wrapper. All of your widgets has this. If you go to wrapper and you scroll down, it's a tooltip pop-up. You can select where it should be. Is it bottom? How big is it? What the text would be, and what the color of that would be. So any section on your website can have that, even with text. If we edit it, let me just try this again. If we go to the text wrapper box, we can even add a tooltip for that little text section if we want to. All right, so that is the tooltip and the hotspot image widget. The next one is the image auto rotator. So here's one where I've added in a few photos. It's scrolling, or you can have it as a static grid. And then I also chose to make it grayscale, or it can be in color. And when someone click on the image, it will open up. So if we preview the site, let me show you the live widget. So this is the live widget, and when I hover over it, the image gets color, and if you click, it opens up in Lightbox. So a very nice way to give a bit of an animation on your site. I think I've got another one here somewhere. No, I don't. So that's the image auto rotator. The next one is the image comparison. Now the image comparison is where you can have like a before and after, whatever type of photos you want to have in here. Now in here you can add in 2 different photos. Let's just add in that one for now to show you. That's how easily it updates. Is it interactive or is it reveal on scroll? You can again adjust your hotspots, and then the left side image, again you can adjust the hotspots, and you can also give each one its own little label and select where the start position for the slider should be. Now let me just discard that and preview the template one, or the one that I pulled in. So this is the one we've got, and then your viewer can view and slide the 2 images as they like. Very cool widget. The next one is the video testimonials in here that we already spoke about, for adding additional testimonials. Then we've got 2 new pricing widgets. So pricing comparison and the normal pricing tables. The main difference is basically the look and feel. So the first one is this kind of a look and feel where you've got monthly or yearly with your 3 plans, or how many ever you want. You can add in as many plans as you want. Each one gets its own information, an icon, currency, single purchase, monthly, yearly, subscription, your description for the product, features, text, all of that. Now let's have a look at the starter one that's in there. So you got your price, all the added benefits. If you want to add one, as soon as you start typing, it adds it to the column. You can link to any page, or you can have a most popular label at the top. Now this is the basic pricing plan one, and you can decide whether you're going to have it in columns, cards, or the table version, which is quite nice. So you've got different features, different ways of displaying this. Also light and dark theme, and then name and pricing fonts, the symbol, where must that be, and the default billing at the top, and then just normal color and styling options that you've got. The other one, which I think might be a little bit more powerful, is the compare plans. So if you've got a little bit more intricate details that you need to share with more items, this might be a better option for you. Now, if you go into the settings for this one, you can also have this as the normal plain cards. So you can switch between the 2 of them. It's just going to give you a bit of a longer list with more text. But the comparison one, I think, is a nicer, for me, it's a nicer one if you have more information to share with people. Now, if you go in, you can have your headings for your plans, like there's your starter plan with its price, and a link for a button if you add a button to the bottom of it. And then the features, you can have all the different features. This one is a section heading, so it will display as a heading, and then the project is the first item, and there you can have either numbers or icons, or whatever the case is. All right, and you can add as many plans or features to this table as you want. So those are the new widgets for pricing. Let me just quickly show you on the live site the difference between the 2 of them. So there's the normal cards one, and you can switch between monthly and yearly and have the buttons linked to wherever. Or the comparison table, also switch between monthly and yearly. The only downside is on mobile, this one, people need to scroll to have a look at the display. So if we go to mobile, all the other widgets really display very well. What happens with the pricing one is the card, the first one will show you the 3 cards below each other. The second one will show the pricing columns like this, and your user can then just scroll to the side view the entire column. So it's not a bad display. It is there, but you can maybe have a tooltip on mobile to tell them, scroll to the left or to the right to view the rest of the column. So that is the new pricing table widgets. Then let's have a look. So the blog also received a bunch of new updates. I did cover that in a previous video, the video about the Builder Grid feature update. Then we've got the chart. The chart is just a very nice way of displaying different types of data. I think I've got one in here. Yeah, there we go. So here's a chart. You can have your chart either as an area chart like this, or you can have it as a bar chart, or you can have it as a line chart, combo, donut charts, and gauge charts. So so you can have different ways of displaying this, and then each chart you can have multiple series, as many as you want, and your series just gets a name and a color, and you can have various different data points. The more series you add, the more will be in here for you to now edit and add in different data points. So if you have some sort of a statistic or comparison or something that you need to display on your site, that is a very nice widget, the new chart widget to use. Then the other one that also received an upgrade is the progress bar. Now you remember that our progress bar was this little bar that looked like that. Let me put it on a white background. So this is the normal progress bar that we had, where you can now go and set the percentage of the progress bar. Now this one received a very nice update, I think. You can now have it not just as a single progress bar, but as multiple sections. So the classic one we had was this. We can now have it either as bars and skills, which will display like this, and each one you can label, color, value individually, add as many as you want, or we can have it as circles, which is also really, really cool. In terms of styling, you can now adjust the thickness of the lines, the circle sizes, or if it's a different one, the one with the lines, it will be a line size, thickness, different fonts, different colors, animate, gradient, fills, all of those things. So it's a really, really cool new way of displaying any form of progress or statistics that you've got for your business. The next one is the stat counter. Similar to what you can use for this. I don't know if I've got a stat counter in here. I don't think I loaded a stat counter. Let's quickly load one in. So this is the countdown timer. Sorry, this one also received an update. Before we get to the stats, the countdown timer received updates also. So when it comes to the styling of it, you're going to have it as progress rings instead of just the normal classic that we have, with some additional editing features. But where's it now? The stat counter. I've got a stat counter, I just realized it. You can have it either as a minimum, radial display, you can have it as spotlights, editorial index, a neon glow, or a gradient number. Add as many as you want. Each one has its own editing capabilities, numbers, prefix, suffix, and label for that. And you can also style it in different ways that works for you. So I just realized that I did have one in this template, and there it sits. There it sits. Very nice. There's also a nice mask on the images. All right, let's see. Team members, that's the last widget. So team members is over here. This is the default team members widget. It contains 4 team members. Each one you can add in photo, name, role, and a short little bio, and have as many links to their social media or platforms or whatever you want to add in. And you can add as many team members as you want. Very nice now again, because you don't have to, like previously, have multiple columns, duplicate content. It's just there. You can have it as a grid, a list, or a slider. Each one with its own little styling, rounded photos, themes, all of those things, the normal. Now, the nice thing that I want to show you in terms of the wrapper styling, this is a good widget, I think, to show. Normally, when we had spacing issues between columns, now this is one column, we can't adjust that spacing, but inside the wrapper box, we can now add padding to the different columns. Now, it's not going to adjust inside one column, it's adjusting the outside of the column. So let's have a look at, I want to do, where's a nice one? Let's say we want to use this one. So we want to create a little bit more space between everything inside of this column. So we would go into the column wrapper, and we can then adjust the column gutters. So this adds just a little bit of spacing on your widgets, or in between all of your widgets. Right, so we covered team members. That is it for the new widgets, but there are one or two things that I quickly want to show you and just recap on that we spoke about in the other video earlier this week. The one thing is for each column and block, you now have a slider mode, and we also have a tabs mode. Now the slider, let's quickly first talk about the slider mode. Let's go to the block. If we activate the slider mode on the block, we can now take this first slider and make a duplicate of it. So you've got two sliders. You won't see a difference because they're now duplicates, but we can maybe change this image. We want to use that image, and we don't want the mask. We maybe want to enable corners to do this kind of a thing, and our headline must read something like "Welcome to our company," as example. Now, what this does is it creates two different slides. So if we now save this, you can either have them as slides, or you can have them, the arrows, you can have them on the sides, or you can have them at the bottom. You can show the bullets. The animation for it must be slide, cube, push, whatever the case is. Let's say that it auto slides. We can give it a speed. I'm just going to make it slow or fast so that you can get an idea. Show autoplay progress. Disable autoplay on mobile. Whether it's smooth, snappy, springy, linear. Parallax slide. Content. Keyboard navigation, or pause when tabbed. Okay, let me show you this. As soon as we preview the site, so there's our one main header. And there's the second one. Now, it's obviously a quick animation because that's how I set it. But as soon as you hover, it pauses, and we can slide between them. So every block and every container, every block and every column now has this slider mode feature. The columns also have a tabs feature. Let me show you the tabs feature in action. It will be this one. So instead of the entire block moving, we can decide that just the columns must move. We've got the tab 1 and a tab 2, which can be different. It's still just 2 columns, but just with a slight difference. So let me show you what this looks like on the editor side. Again, inside the columns, the tab mode is activated, and we have the tabs here. We can add a third one if you want. Main settings for the tabs, we can have either pills, underline, minimum for the headlines. The tab title, you can change. You can add in icons if you want. You can even have a pill display, adjust whatever you want on this thing in terms of styling. And then the tabs itself, you can select whichever one you select in. That's the tab that you're going to be working inside of. So if we want to duplicate that one, we click on duplicate, or we can simply delete that one out of it. And that is it. That is the tabs functionality. Something else that I forgot to show you is the pills also. The headline pill also now have a global font, a global styling, where you can adjust it once for desktop and for mobile separately. So that's it for the new widgets. The nice update for global styling now also is in the color palettes. We've got presets now built in. Normally in the past, your color scheme would have been, you know, whatever you wanted anyway, but now we had to link it to bring in this functionality. So now how it works, your primary color is the color that would be used for things like your buttons and your highlights, your primary business color call to action. Secondary color will be the secondary dark color for your business. Then so it's basically the same as your primary, or whatever the primary is, but it's just a darker version. Or if you've got a different color to your primary, that would be your secondary main, your main secondary color. This one would then be all three of them you can use for backgrounds, but this one would be then for like a lighter text, still with the same hues as the primary, a darker text, or in this case it's this background, also with the same hues as this, just darker. And then the last one would be a grayish kind of a look that you can use for backgrounds and things like that. You can still adjust the main background and the main text color. Now the nice thing with the color palettes is as soon as you click one, it's going to update your entire website to the new color palette. And because we've got the standard now, you can jump between this, and there should be a fairly smooth transition between any of the color presets that you want to choose from. Let's go with an indigo. So you can have any color that you want, but you can still go and adjust the color, the secondary and the primaries and all of this as you want. So you can still adjust those individually apart from the templates. So very nice update to colors and styling. And then the last big update was the SEO, where you can get a scoring with some guides on what needs to be adjusted, and then a section at the bottom at what you already have in that is great for visibility and SEO. I also talked a little bit about this one in the Builder Grid video. A quick note on mobile. All the new widgets, I just want to remove this we don't have to remove it. I'm just going to make the auto scroller a bit longer. All right, so if we go to mobile, the mobile editing now also changed. Anything that you add into the mobile version now is completely separate. it's not affecting your main desktop version anymore. So if you see there's a spacing issue, normally in the past, if we added spacing in there, it would also have had an effect on the desktop view. It doesn't. Your desktop is now still as it was. So any editing that you do on your mobile side won't have an effect. So even when it comes to adding in different widgets, same thing. You can style this now completely separate. The global text stylings for mobile, so just make sure that it's not synced, but global text styling you can now do from there, just a quick access button. Same with the global buttons for mobile. Then a lovely feature that I love is normally when you go into mobile, your menu would become like a hamburger menu. So it would be like a normal side navigation or an overlay menu. But now we can have either the basic, you can mirror it, or you can have it as circles in the dock. Now you'll see it will pop up over here. It's slightly to the left, but this is just a way that it displays in the builder. I'll show you a live version now. You can name it, show member profiles, use dark UI, use custom drag and drop content, and then also add left and right buttons if you don't just want the hamburger menu. So you see it removed the hamburger menu from the top and placed it at the bottom. Now this has got the trial message in the way, so I want to show you a live version. This is what it looks like on the display, but then as soon as you edit this, the nice thing that I like about this, when a viewer now views your website, so the main website still looks like this, but as soon as they view it on a mobile, it's going to show up like this. You don't have a menu at the top anymore. It now becomes more like an app. So the menu is still there. It's still a menu, but it looks with two buttons they can navigate to wherever. But it's still, it just looks a little bit more like an app, which I think is really cool. Same for tablet view, you also have that. So that is the new updates on the mobile side. You still have all the normal features that we normally had. You want to display on mobile or desktop, all the resizes, the normal settings we had. Everything of that still the same for mobile. That's it for the updates, for the new widgets, the new features. I'm really excited to see what you come up with. If there is any questions that you've got, please let us know. Send an email, leave a comment on this video. Tell me what's your favorite. Is it the new image editing capability? Oh, the gallery received an update. I almost forgot. The gallery received an update where you can now do a masonry grid like this, which we normally did not have. And with the layout, we can now also add in the image padding and the radiuses, which is quite cool. So that's just a nice little update. All right, so let me know what's your favorite. Is it the two buttons, the social proof, the scrolling, the nice animations you can now do? I mean, everything on the site just looks a little bit more alive. It's a very nice, lively, animated, not interactive, but it is interactive if you look at this. It's just different. I think I like it. So let me know what is your favorite feature, your favorite widget that you are looking forward to playing with. And if you have suggestions for other edits or other widgets or updates to these, please feel free to reach out. And let's see if we can add those into the builder for you also.